Well, today it is Sunday morning, about, I don't know, I think it's out about 8:30, maybe a quarter till 9, and I am hiking a loop in Mount Hood National Forest to Ramona Falls, and I think it's called Bald Mountain, and that should be nice. It's a bit chilly this morning. I think it's about 40 degrees. I don't know what that is in Celsius. I don't know. 5 degrees Celsius, maybe a little less than that. And should be a nice hike. It is, I think this hike will be mostly wooded, so I shouldn't have trouble with sun, I don't think. And although the elevation gain is, I think it's at least 3,000 feet, but that's because I go down to Ramona Falls and then back up to Bald Mountain, and then back down a little bit to this trailhead where I started. So I think the highest point of elevation is only 4,400 feet. So that'll be nice. Won't have to deal with the 6,200 feet of last weekend, or the 9,000 feet of Cooper Spur 2 weekends ago. So, should be a good hike. So today I am wearing these new Hoka trail running shoes to see if they will make my heels hurt a bit less. I've been having trouble with heel pain. The past few hikes, my heels have hurt enough that I've had to, not do well. It's hard if I hike 2 days in a row. So anyway, as shown on, one of my videos a couple weeks ago, my hiking boots broke, and I've been using some Adidas trail running shoes most of the summer. And those, those don't have quite enough cushioning. So last weekend I tried some Salomon hiking boots that were supposed to have a good amount of cushioning, and they were also Gore-Tex boots, so waterproof, and the boots didn't have enough cushioning. My heels hurt even more after I was done with a 14-mile hike. And also, at the end of the hike, I waded into a creek, Zigzag Creek, and one of the boots actually leaked in the toe area. So the Gore-Tex was not waterproof. So I returned those to REI last night and got this pair of Hoka trail running shoes, which certainly they feel like they have a lot of cushioning. They feel pretty good in that regard. They don't have nearly as much support as hiking boots would have. So we'll see how that goes. Given that I bought them from REI, I can always return them if I don't like them. So we'll find out. So this is the first time I've ever seen a stump. It's an elevated stump. A tree hanging like this. I don't quite understand. Obviously the two trees grew together, but why did someone cut a piece out of the other tree? I don't know. That's pretty odd. Let's see if we can get a better perspective on this. Pretty amazing. So the trunk is still attached all the way up there, but it's been removed here. I guess, I don't know, it's hard to imagine how that happened. So I've descended a couple thousand feet, actually no, not a couple thousand, about 1,200 feet I think, down to this creek or river here. Unfortunately, the All Trails app doesn't actually tell me the name of it, which is a bit annoying. It seems to be oriented towards keeping people on a trail and not telling them about the landmarks in the area. But I see a little chipmunk just tested the log bridge for me. This should be okay, except it might be a little slippery given the recent rain and the dew last night. So I think I will not try to video my crossing here, but instead I will have both hands on my trekking poles. Well, I safely made it across the log. Now I'm walking along towards Ramona Falls. I think this stretch will be relatively level. Looks like I'm going to get some sun here, and I've already taken off both my fleece vest and my jacket in preparation for after I get to Ramona Falls and rest there a bit. Then I will be hiking back up the I guess a couple thousand feet up. So I anticipate getting kind of hot there. This area has a lot of downed trees. I'm not quite sure why. Maybe it's probably an old fire a long time ago, but it's kind of pretty right now. You can see steam coming off of the plants and the sandy soil. The moss and ferns down here are pretty amazing. It looks like people have made some nice tables at this campsite out of flat stones. Looks like a pretty pleasant campsite, and this is quite a canyon here. It goes up pretty high. Well, I can't even see it through the trees right now, but it is pretty high, and that over there is some fall foliage. This is a beautiful little brook. I assume it's probably outflow from Ramona Falls, but I don't know. I'll find when I get there. And here's a view of those cliffs. They are a little shorter now because I've gained some elevation, but I'm really enjoying this hike along this brook and next to these cliffs in this canyon. It's really pretty. Another really pretty glade here. There are two streams of water. There's this stream here, and then there's another one farther down there. And this cute little bridge crossing this nearby stream. And then some amazing ferns and trees up there. So this is Ramona Falls, and it is beautiful. I'll see if I can take pictures from another angle, but it's quite a set of falls. Well, that was Ramona Falls, and it was really pretty. maybe my favorite set of falls that I've seen so far in Oregon, although it's been a long time since I've been to Silver Falls State Park. It's hard to remember. I think those are pretty nice too. Anyway, so it's about 2 hours and 20 minutes into my hike, and I might be about halfway, not sure, but I've got most of the climbing ahead of me. I think starting here, I'm heading up maybe, I guess it's a couple thousand feet. Might even be more than that. I have to check. maybe 3,000 feet. And so probably another, I don't know, 3 hours or so. We'll see. Oh, and my shoes are doing pretty well. Hard to figure out the camera here, but they seem pretty good so far. They did well on the descent back there, that 1,400 feet of drop that I did. My feet, my toes, my feet didn't slide forward in the shoes, so that's good. They seem to fit pretty well. And I don't have any pain in my feet at this point. So we'll see in a few hours. This is quite a burn area that I'm going through here. Somebody did a lot of work clearing these trees out of the way. When I say a burn area, I mean an area where a forest fire has swept through. And I see here, I didn't realize I was actually going to get to see Mount Hood today. Somehow I thought this hike would be more wooded than this, but I guess if the forest fire hadn't swept through and burnt down all these trees, then I might not be able to see Mount Hood. You can see there's a lot of fresh snow on Mount Hood. This trail that I'm hiking on right now is the Timberline Trail, the one that circumnavigates Mount Hood, makes a circle around Mount Hood. So I've been on sections of this trail, many of the hikes the past few weekends, and might have a nice view of Mount Hood here. Looks like it'll be a little ways ahead. This is kind of fun. Uprooted tree root ball here, and the trail just goes kind of literally underneath part of the root ball and under this log here. And here we can see more of Mount Hood. The very top looks like there's a cloud next to it. Here's a pretty nice view of Mount Hood behind me there. And there, once again, is Bald Mountain, my not my final destination, but I will be visiting Bald Mountain there. Looking at the snow on Mount Hood there, it's makes me glad. So I had contemplated going to Cooper Spur again today because the air is so clear. I thought it'd be nice to see the view from up there on a clear day. And the side of the Mount Hood that I'm looking at right now is the south side. Cooper Spur is on the north or northeast side. And I suppose that there's probably even more snow over there. So it might have been kind of treacherous hiking. The main reason I didn't go there was not because I knew about the snow, which I didn't, but was because the road up is so bumpy that I didn't want to drive it again. It's kind of chilly in the shade here. I don't really want to put my jacket back on because I'm only going to have to take it off when I get back into the sun, but we'll see. I guess if I don't encounter some sun on the trail soon, then I may have to put my jacket on, or maybe just a sock cap or something. It's about, I'd say, I don't know, it feels like it's about 50 degrees, maybe a little colder. It's hard to tell. from here I can see that I'm looking about level here, so I definitely have some more elevation to gain before I will be up on top of that ridge. So definitely more climbing to do today. Some very, very late blooms here. It's been about an hour and 10 minutes since I left Ramona Falls, and I've been mostly, for the past half hour, I've been mostly going up and down, crossing across. I think what the trail's doing is I've got to work my way down to cross a river down there. And then I'll ascend. After I cross the river, I go back up the other side, up to that ridge and over to Bald Mountain. This, of course, is not Bald Mountain, but Mount Hood. But I think I can see Bald Mountain from here, yes. There's Bald Mountain. I just stepped across this creek here, which wasn't too difficult since I have hiking sticks with me, but this is considered a river because you can see there's a much bigger riverbed. So I guess in the springtime this is a pretty difficult crossing. I've seen pictures of people thigh deep in the water here working their way across. So glad that it's not that deep for me here today. This valley is really pretty. And obviously we're just at the beginning of the changing of the leaves, so it would probably be even nicer in a few weeks. So I've done my last river crossing there, and it actually wasn't easy. There was a heavier flow there. Sorry I didn't film it at all, but now I'm working my way along that ridge, or maybe up that ridge. So far, let's see, I'm about 4 hours and 15 minutes into my hike, and according to my watch, I've done about 2,000 or 2,500 feet of elevation gain. And I think it's supposed to be a total of 3,500 feet today. So I guess I've still got some ups and downs, or net ups, to go. But we'll see. So now I'm working my way across the face of Bald Mountain. And over there you can see the area where I was, I don't know, probably a couple hours ago, the area where all the trees were down. And there we have a beautiful view of Mount Hood. This is looking down on that valley. I stood at the foot of that valley and took a picture looking up. Now I'm, I don't know, maybe 500 or 600 feet above that. So here's the view from on top of Bald Mountain. So now I am heading down from the top of Bald Mountain. My watch, the altimeter on my watch says 2,600 feet, and I checked the guidebook, and that is correct. The total elevation gain is supposed to be 2,600 feet. And sorry, it's not the altimeter, but the elevation gain on my watch says 2,600. So I was confusing this with a different hike that I had been contemplating doing today that would have been 3,500 feet. And I'm glad that this one is just 2,600. That's nice. The summit of Bald Mountain is actually a little disappointing. I think they should call it maybe Receding Hairline Mountain. It has quite a few trees on it, so you really can't get a real panoramic view. There was a better view on the trail as I was crossing the face, kind of the bald area of the mountain. And that had a better view. So I should have stopped there to take more pictures, but I was expecting a panoramic view up here on the top of the mountain. Anyway, I could come back here some other time. Now I am back down below the summit of Bald Mountain. I guess we could call this Clean Shaven Face Mountain, maybe, this part here. And here there's a really nice view of, you can actually see most of what I just hiked. So I started off going down that ridge along there and went down. You can see those area where there was a whole bunch of down trees, kind of a level area that I walked through on my way to Ramona Falls. And then I went up this canyon behind that ridge there and got to Ramona Falls somewhere back there, which we can't see from here. Then I worked my way up and across. You can see the trail right there of where I went across that area where there were also burned down trees, and then worked my way along here and descended a bit down to some crossings there, crossed across those creeks or rivers. I guess in the springtime they would be rivers, and then worked my way back over to here. So I am just doing the last few hundred yards down back to the car here, and I just wanted to update the status of the shoes. I'm pretty happy with these Hoka shoes. My feet don't hurt at all right now. I'm sure they'll be sore tomorrow, but at least I'm not hobbling down the trail like I was last weekend. So that's good. So I think I'll certainly keep these, use them for at least a few more hikes, and hopefully they'll continue to do well.